Iraq's non-teams in Mexico. Yeah, or Canada, probably Mexico. But if they don't do that, Italy has a chance. Now I wonder how. Yes, if there's a playoff there, I will cover that playoff. Don't worry. And I will still wear the Italy jersey, even if it's sort of, I don't know, either way. Free kick for Toronto. Okay. Yeah. Well, okay. 23rd minute. Well, you learn something new every day. Thank you for that history lesson, Hypatia. Thank you. I love history. Toronto headed away by Haglund. Ball headed away there. I love history. My neurodivergence is history. It's certainly not math, but I've talked about that before. It should be, but it doesn't. They haven't come out and said that. And FIFA precedent for the Club World Cup. Somebody said FIFA precedent we already saw last summer. Could have Italy play for it. Let me be honest. I think FIFA's going to pick what makes them the most money. Do I think FIFA's just going to hand Iran's spot to Italy? No. Do I think they're going to have a playoff where they easily should win 2 games and make the World Cup to take that spot? Yes. I don't think, and I think FIFA wants to make it look fair, so they'll have Bolivia and Jamaica be in that playoff as playoff losers, and then UAE be in that playoff as the highest ranked Asian team not to make it. And then Italy being the highest ranked team in the world to not make it at all, which also lost a playoff. 3 of those 4 teams lost a playoff in the past window. So what should it be the UAE? Yes. The fact that they haven't been if they do, because this has been a real possibility since July, let's be real, of last year, since Trump did Midnight Hammer, but certainly since October, when your neocons and warhawks started trumpeting the sirens for war with Iran. Certainly not your Alex Joneses and Tucker Carlsons and Charlie Kirks, but, well, either way, point is, even Iran kind of saw this coming, and they started I don't know. And there was also visa stuff and all that, but there was a lot of rumblings for a while before Epic Fury began. Ironically enough, the rumblings got louder and louder after Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. Because everybody was telling Trump not to do this. One of them got killed, and he didn't listen to the other couple. Either way, he'd rather listen to Glenn Beck. Either way, enough about that. How's Shallowy doing? Solid. I think Toronto looks like the better team. The problem is they haven't put the ball in the back of the net. So at some point, it may not even matter. Toronto looks like the better team, though. Cincinnati has had a couple of moments, but nothing too crazy. Really against the run of play as well, but that's an away game for you. I think Shallowy's been 6.1. Yeah, that sounds about solid to me. Either way, enough about the 30th minute. Playing forward. TFC and Cifuentes loses the ball. Yeah, but see, they thought it would be easy. They killed the Ayatollah, and there's still the IRGC. Yeah, there could have been positives to come out of this absolute quagmire. They fucked it up. And I never wanted a war with Iran. But even I knew there were positives if they started. There were positives if there was one that was started, and then they fucked it up. And then the ceasefire could be exactly antithetical to what the stated objectives were. No regime change. They can enrich uranium, which means they'll get the bomb, which the stated objective was they can't have a nuclear bomb. So the strait's open, but they'll end up having a nuclear bomb. So what the hell do we do all this for exactly? I think Toronto's doing better. I agree. I'm anti-interventionist and I'm for peace. The only way I should see a North American country go to war is if their country, their land is attacked with an actual attack and not a false flag. But we'll leave that be. I'm surprised they haven't done a false flag yet. I'm surprised. Either way. Because Vietnam was bullshit. Iraq was bullshit. Afghanistan was bullshit. Korea was bullshit. Every war since World War II has been bullshit. Desert Storm was bullshit. Either way, you haven't been around long enough, but I've always been anti-war and anti-interventionism. I've always been that way. My whole life. But certainly when I know politics, I just don't really like talking them because it's not a smart position to be. Because even if you're a libertarian, that's not the popular thing to be. So they'll run down your throat. Either way, I've always been anti-interventionist. Always have been. I've always said Iraq was bullshit. I've always said Vietnam was bullshit. I've always said, so yes, long way around, always for peace, always against illegal military objectives and such. Good tackle, always. And the day I change, that's a bigger stab in the back than what. And the day I change on that, certainly if I never run for office, I don't think I ever will. If I change my tune, that means I'm probably in political office and Glenn Beck got to me and Bill Kristol got to me. But either way, Arsenal lost again. I know. Montlouis is only getting better. We have 2 wars going on. The U.S.-Israel all-offensive war and Iran's defensive economic warfare. Well, that's the same war. Well, I mean, you could add on Lebanon, but that's all Israel. But it's the same war. Now, of course, the U.S. is doing the force, and Israel are doing the force strikes, and Iran is trying to break their balls economically. There we go. So you're right, but it's either way. Either way. Why are the fans booing Sammy? Because they're turning him heel. Worse. I like Pat McAfee, but the Randy storyline and Cody storyline didn't need Pat McAfee, but either way. And it's the same thing I've said forever. 35th minute. WWE Creative sucks. Anyhow, you're not wrong. And speaking of, well, I don't know if Canada would ever end up in a war, and I'm sure they wouldn't start one, but who's the Canadian Glenn Beck? Who's the Canadian Bill Kristol? Because I feel like I have to be equal opportunity on my, if I ever change my tune on war, Bill Kristol and Glenn Beck got to me. I need to be equal opportunity. Who are the Canadian? I haven't found them yet, but who are Jordan Peterson? Maybe? Jordan Peterson? Maybe? Yeah, Jordan Peterson got it. If I change my tune on war and it's a Canadian situation, yeah, Jordan Peterson got to me. Barlow, way too wide. Yeah, Jordan Peterson got to me instead of Bill Kristol and Glenn Beck. I don't think Ben Mulrooney is a war hawk. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. Two different strategies. I mean, Iran strategically taking out certain targets, which destroys the economy. They spend less monetary resources to maximize their strike power. Fair enough, yeah. And then closing the Strait of Hormuz, which everybody knew that was a disaster waiting to happen economically. We've known this for 30, 40 years. And that buffoon did it. And that rotting orange buffoon went and did it. Thank you, Glenn Beck. Asshole. Being Glenn Beck's the asshole. Thank you, Bill Crystal. You. How does this make any sense? I remember the days when Bill Crystal hated Donald Trump. I remember the days when Glenn Beck hated Donald Trump. I remember the days when Mark Levin hated Donald Trump. It's upside down. 38th minute. Blocked. Everything is upside down. And I hate it. Everything's upside down and I hate it. Marcel Ruiz and Westcott are coming back from injury. The Marcel Ruiz thing, I don't know if that's a good idea. I still can't see that. Marcel Ruiz is 25, and he's going to try to come back quickly from an ACL injury to play at the World Cup and pull a Samalum Titi. Dude could play at another World Cup. Marcel Ruiz could play at another World Cup. He's in his prime, about to get into it. Then he'll be at the tail end of his prime for another World Cup. Maybe it's because it's being played in Mexico. Maybe that's why he wants to play at this World Cup so bad. But at least Samalum TT sacrificed his knee for a World Cup trophy. With going in, nobody thought France were going to win the 2018 World Cup. Nobody saw that one coming. But they won it. But that was still a better chance than what Mexico have to win the World Cup. And you're telling me, now West Goss, of course, that is what it is. But you're telling me that I still don't think it's a good calculus. I don't. For Marcel Ruiz. I don't think he should. I think he should just focus on hopefully playing in 2020 or 2030 at the World Cup, because he'd still be 26, 7, 8, 29. He'd still be in his prime. Ruining his career to play at this World Cup makes no sense. Pulling a Samalum TT makes no sense. We saw what happened with him. That was a knee injury as well. He sacrificed his career to win a World Cup. And he did score the goal to put France in the final. Guskevich got a yellow card. Here comes Sargent. So, I mean, it wasn't like his sacrifice was for naught. Marcel, if he sacrificed his knee, come back 2 months later to play at the World Cup after what he went through, what's he sacrificing his career for? An extra game? Maybe a game further than they getting past El Quinto Partido? I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't think Marcel playing is worth it. Not like Samalum TT. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, I don't know if I would have said it was worth it back then from TT. Because who the hell thought France was going to win that World Cup? Nobody. I thought Belgium was going to win that World Cup, which they made the semifinals. But I can't sit here and say that makes player down. Like, that makes any sense. I don't know. Do you know the reason why Sami Zayn's getting booed? Because they're turning him heel and people are mad at him for being Sammy Hogan. Something like that. I don't know. I'll never boo Sammy, so that's all that matters. But you didn't go to the St. Louis show. Yeah, I didn't. Shut up. Yeah, I didn't go to the St. Louis show, so what? No, it's not that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but this was bubbling up for a while. Because he's an underdog that doesn't lose unless he loses a world title match. Evander's walking off. Either way. Oh, what do you know? Low turnout of BMO today. That's just sad. Oh. Ugh. Cincinnati with a free kick. Yeah, I know. I'm not really looking forward to that one, but I wasn't going to watch Backlash anyway. Hopefully Toronto's playing evening games by then. Because if I'm doing nothing on a Saturday night, because they play at freaking 12 o'clock, maybe I will watch Backlash and I'll want to put my fingers through my eyeballs. WWE fans watching the current product. Jesus wept. John 11:35. Yeah, I thought Danhausen was good. Playing forward. 4 minutes of stoppage time. Playing forward, cleared away. Toronto looks like the better team, but we'll see what happens. Oh. Playing forward. But so far, I think Toronto looks like the better team. The sad part is just, it is what it is. Either way, cross, nothing there. 48th minute. Playing forward. '48th minute, shot blocked away. Evander Osorio gets bodied. Lord. And Evander pushes Oso down in the box. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Toronto has been time wasting a good bit during a 0-0 draw at home. That makes no sense to me. That is gutless. I don't care. That's gutless. You're going freaking time waste. Hello, new to the channel. Hello. Yellow card, 49th minute. Why Toronto Stadium's always empty? Because the team's been garbage for a good couple of years. Which is sad, considering Toronto has good ultras. Ball crossed in, header, saved by Gavrin. Toronto's team has been garbage. TFC has been garbage, and they're playing these games at midday during the spring, which is still kind of cold in April. I don't know. Either way, we suck. Halftime, 0-0. Nice save from Gavrin. I agree. Because Toronto sucks. That's what has sucked recently. That's why. 0-0 at the half. I guess I'll take it. Toronto's been the better team, but they've definitely time wasted as well. Yeah, and why do you think we went full? Channel happens to be what it is. Yep, I agree. It was pretty. I mean, Toronto was the better team, but yeah, it was pretty boring as well. Why do you think we went off the rails? Well, I don't know how long you've been here. Either way. Talked more about freaking current events than football. Not that I thought I said anything disagreeable, but who knows? Either way. Yeah, pretty boring first half overall. Yeah. It's only 9 Celsius in Toronto and breezy. Definitely not t-shirt weather. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want it to be, it could be. Let's see. Let me see some here before we take a break. 9 Celsius just to make make sure I don't have this wrong. Oh, there we go. There we go. 48 degrees. You know, I wouldn't. I think that's pushing it, but of t-shirt weather. But I could see some people wearing a t-shirt during 48 degree Fahrenheit, 9 degrees Celsius weather. I'd say about 55, 57. Either way, it depends on how windy it is. Yeah, the breezy doesn't help either. No WrestleMania stream? Nope. Missing that number 10 creativity. Yep. I hate it. With that being said, well, I mean, I could do the review and then take a nap after this game's over. That's the positive part. I ate it early, well, I guess a lunch straight up, but really, either way. With that being said, we'll take a short break, talk about the stats of the half, all that stuff. Shorts and hoodie weather. Well, I don't know. I'd rather have EO Sky than Jade Cargill. I wish Jade Cargill would just go to Hollywood at this point. She'd probably be way better at that playing in a superhero movie than being in WWE. She's too damn green. I'd rather have EO Sky. I'd rather have Rhea. Either way. We'll take a short break to have talk about the stats, get this ready to go. All that great stuff. Sit tight. We will be back. 0-0. We are back for the stat staff. Toronto FC 0.006 XG at halftime. Well, the sad part is I thought we've played okay at times, but of course, no creativity. Well, FOTMOB has 0.18 expected goals, 0.18. Either way, though, having no Mihailovic doesn't feel good. But then again, we won the first game against Cincinnati late, so who knows? Maybe we'll do the same thing here. I'm not saying Cincinnati don't look that good to me. It might be the same script playing out again. I think we look better this time comparatively to, well, I can't totally. But either way, at least our defense is doing the job. Either way. So that's the half. 43% possession to 57% possession. 3 shots to 4, 1 shot on goal to 2, 149 accurate passes, 79% pass accuracy to 216, 85%, 8 fouls to 11, 3 corners to 2, 3 shots to 4, 1 shot on goal to 2, 188 passes to 255, 79% pass accuracy to 85, 6 throws to 9, 0 offside to 0, 2 yellow cards to 0, 0 red cards to 0, 0-0 at the half. I'd say the first 30 minutes, Toronto were the better team. I think first 30 minutes, Toronto were definitely the better team. The last 10, 15, they've definitely tried to waste time. And frankly, it's definitely kind of flipped a little bit more towards Cincinnati in the second, or like the 15 minutes after. The first 30. They definitely had a little bit better last 15 minutes than us, but Toronto, for some reason, is wasting time in the second half, or the first half. I don't understand why, but I give a shit. I just don't want to go off. This ain't a political channel. And I'm not going to make a political channel. But if I had a political channel, no, I give a shit. But this ain't about politics. I could go off on everything. I just don't, because this channel is not about politics. And I will not have a political channel because it's not a smart position for me to do. But I'll tell you, I do care. I'm angry. I try to beat around the bush, but if you can't tell, even with the comments I make, beating around the bush and try to put pillows on my boxing gloves under my hands. If you can't tell that I'm pissed, you're lost. Because I'm trying to throw the softest punches that I can, and you can still tell I'm pissed. So that won't piss anybody off. I choose my words very carefully for the stuff I do say politically. And I'm still pissed off. You can still tell I'm pissed off. So do with that what you will. With that being said, that was good bait for sure. That was good bait for sure, son. You actually, I did take the bait there. I won't lie. But either way. Playing forward. The Apple deals roll, pain in the ass, no TV, no radio, no coverage except yours. Thank you for your coverage. Well, thank you. You're welcome, but it's because I have Apple. I wish more Toronto games were on TSN, but no, they aren't because, hell, I think some of the MLS games that TSN put on at the weekend are non-Canadian games, which just pisses me off. Should the CRTC do something about that? Isn't there some sort of CanCon rule? Or is it because TSN is like full of curling and hockey that the CanCon rules already satisfied before they even get to the MLS games? Like, why do you even, like, seriously though, TSN? And we're off in the second half, 46 minutes. Why? If a Canadian cares about freaking LA Galaxy, LAFC, they'll have season pass. I know Toronto's ass, or they're starting to turn mid from being ass. Hey, they were ass for a long time, and you still showed all their matches, so what's the difference now? Will MLS slide some money on the table to make you show El Trafico? What changed? And Vancouver plays so late, normally, that it doesn't matter. You could still show Toronto playing. Or Montreal. You could choose one or the other. But sometimes you choose an American game with completely American teams. Nobody asked for that. Let Fox do that. Either way, my bad. Playing forward, headed away. Toronto gets the ball back. It is a percentage basis, so it's corporate commercials available. Corporate decides. Yeah, but you would think, oh, wait, no, Rogers owns Toronto FC completely because MLSE is completely owned by Rogers now. I forgot about that. So Bell doesn't give a shit anymore. I forgot about that. Wow. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Bell doesn't even own MLSE, half of MLSE anymore. It's just all Rogers now, so of course Bell wouldn't care anymore. Playing forward. I almost forgot. Larea crosses in, headed away, cleared away by Cincinnati, 48th minute. Playing forward. Well, there's a good difference. Back before Apple TV was a thing, Bell still half-owned MLSE, which means they half-owned Toronto FC, which means putting TFC on your channel would make a whole lot of sense because that's your company. I do feel like they put a good amount of Toronto games on TSN still when Bell still owned part of MLSE as well. Then, of course, Rogers completely bought MLSE, and here we are. And TSN has the MLS rights in English in Canada. playing forward. Shot saved by Celentano. Toronto were looking better after the half for sure. For sure. 0-0. Oh no. Don't tell me. Peter Chiarelli being linked to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then why'd we fire Treliving? Then again, the two GMs that were in the running when Treliving got hired was Bergevin and Treliving. I'd rather have Bergevin than Chiarelli. Well, that's why I said mid. They become mid. That's because our players are really good. Our manager is not. Our manager is an anchor on this team. We'd be so much higher if Fraser wasn't the manager. Call the Pirate. Playing forward. Either way. The players aren't the problem right now. I think we actually have a solid squad. A squad that's better than where they are. Top 4 squad for sure in the East. The manager is an anchor on it. Either way. And I haven't seen anything to prove to me that he is not. So, yeah, we might be winning, but I'll still say call the Pirate. Because you know what? I'm not going to get fooled. Then again, you could have a good round of results for 14 games and then bottle it later on, a.k.a. John Herdman. Like we look, we're performing mid. We have a solid team. Our manager ain't that good. Either way. Joe Klaus on the bench, had him for LAG, had him in my SofaScore lineup. I'm not even doing MLS Fantasy this year. That SofaScore shit, or whatever it was, so rare, or whatever the hell. I ain't even doing that. I didn't want to make a new account, and I didn't want to have to deal with the possible in-app purchases, so I just said, screw it, I'm not doing fantasy this year. But honestly, and it sucks, we can't even do Predict 6 anymore, or whatever the hell. They got rid of that, too. Not that I was going to win money on either, but either way, 0-0. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever want Peter Chiarelli to be part of the Leafs. How we doing, Nestor? How we doing? That is so bad. Peter Chiarelli in the Leafs front office. Ugh. I'd rather have Bergevin, who will goal. I think Toronto has a better chance of scoring, but who's scoring for Toronto? I don't know. Either way. Oh, okay. I have no idea. It's like they don't know what they're doing. Cross in. I'd rather have Bergevin. Header blocked away. I'd rather have Bergevin. Like, I heard that when Treliving got hired, it was Treliving or Bergevin. I'd legitimately rather have Bergevin over Chiarelli. And Bergevin ain't much better either, but I'd rather have Bergevin. At least Bergevin started spinning the wheels on the Habs rebuild and gave them the first couple of pieces that made them get to where they are. You know? So at least there's that. Cross in. Saved. Playing forward. I don't get it. But then again, switches the play. Is that going to bounce to where it needs to bounce? Nope, that's out for a throw. They tried. You think the Premier League title race is still on? Yep. Because Arsenal is doing what Arsenal does. Sorry, McChronicle. Arsenal is doing what Arsenal does. They bottle in April. When the leaves bloom, the actual leaves on trees, not the Toronto Maple Leafs, they bottle too at this time of year. Normally. Not this year, though. They've already bottled. They bottled in November when the leaves were falling off trees. That's about right. But either way, whenever the cherry blossoms bloom, Arsenal starts bottling. Thank God they had that Sporting game, but they damn near bottled that one, too. EFL Cup final, bottled. FA Cup, bottled. Or EFL Cup, bottled. International break, FA Cup, bottled. Sporting, Kai Havertz saved their ass. Premier League, bottled. They could have had a 12-point lead with 2 games in hand, which would have made it a 6-point lead after the games in hand. Cross in. Either way, they still have the Champions League. Honestly, could be worse than Shirelli. Is Keenan still either way. Pep hadn't been doing too great either. Still like 9 points ahead. Oh, trust me, if Arteta comes back next year, I'm not even going to watch. Are you Lee Gunner in disguise? Because he said the same thing. Well, he also said he'd watch the women's team instead if Arsenal bottled the league and Arteta came back. I think he just said if they bottled the league, but like Arsenal's going to fire Arteta if they bottle it all. '57th minute. I don't blame him, though. I mean, he's right. The Arsenal women's team actually plays better football. They are doing well. No, I have not. Yep, I agree. Losing Jordy is a bad thing. Very bad. Because stress fracture in his pelvis. I don't even know how that happens. I don't even know how that happens. Playing forward. Sargent! Shot! Wide! Oh my God! $23 million just to bottle job. He was one-on-one with a goalie and he puts it wide. $23 million for this fucking fraud. Oh my God. Wow. I like Lee Gunner. Troops is an actor, but I like Troops. Expressions, I think he's hilarious, but either way. Relax, give him some time. This has been him for years! This is the same guy that I was saying ain't gonna be that when people called him the savior of the USMNT, I said, fuck no, he ain't. And stop glazing him because he came from SLSG. Stop glazing him like you do Jason Tatum. At least Jason Tatum is worth the glaze because he's from the St. Louis area and he came from Chaminade. At least Jason Tatum's worth the glaze. At least he won a fucking NBA Finals. Josh Sargent kid came through SLSG and he got glazed like hell and back by some people I knew in high school. And I'm like, nah, he ain't going to be the savior. He ain't got it. And he plays for Werder Bremen and can't fucking score for Werder Bremen. I've known what this guy is for years. And he still is that guy. $23 million and all he can do is one-headed goal. Now, I know we don't have the creativity, but he can create his own chances, right? What'd he do there? That's, if you're worth $23 million, you should be able to score what he had right there. He's the same guy I've been saying ain't shit since 2017. Same guy. Give him time, my fucking ass. $23 million. For that. One-on-one. And you pull it wide. Fraud. Relax, it's just a game. He's not one of the Italians. You are getting better as a team. Okay. Yeah, we are getting better as a team. I don't think he's worth $23 million. Or 26. Or $20+ million. He may be good. No, he's not bad. Josh Sargent is not bad. But again, it's the same thing. It's sort of the same thing as it was. Now it's just savior at TFC. You pay $26 million for somebody. They're the savior of your team. Play like it. I want him to score. And I want to be wrong about him. I have to be wrong about him nowadays. I'm not saying, and I'm not wrong about the fact he wasn't the savior of the USMNT striker position. That I was right about. But no, I want to be wrong about him. I want Josh Sargent to succeed. It's not like I don't want him to prove myself right, prove 17-year-old me right, like I still have an axe to grind. And what I was complaining about back then, I am right. He'll never start as a striker for the USMNT. So I guess I was right in the end. But in that case, you know, header wide. I want him to be good. And yeah, we're getting better as a team. And yeah, if we had creativity, he might score. And Gavrin's hurt. Great. Like, I just expect better. $26 million. You miss a sitter like that. If we only got 1 point, I can point at that straight up. To me, $26 million in MLS is like $100 million in the Prem. Should be better than that. Straight up. You can't miss that. I mean, yeah, he's barely gotten minutes up until recently. Fair. He had a header last week. He scored. I want 15 goals a season from him. I want 10, 12 in MLS. And we'll see what happens in other comps. I want him. Hey, if he got a hat trick against Atletico Ottawa, I'd be happy. Do that. I hope. Because that's what, 3 weeks from now or something? Headed away. I hope so. That would be beautiful. I might do that game live. Sergeant might just be a late bloomer. Relax. Isn't he 28 now? West Ham won 4-0. Tottenham's getting relegated. Yeah. TFC got a lot of youth ballers, but here's the problem. We never use them. Do I need to repeat my problem with the club, or one of my problems? We never, ever give our academy players a chance. Everybody who has potential out of our academy gets sent off somewhere. Hell, we just sent a guy from that U15 team who won the GA Cup to Sturm Graz. He couldn't even play for TFC 2. Which, I mean, for his career, that's probably better. I won't lie. But our academy, like, when they say all for one, this little slogan right here, all for one, you know what I think this club means? You're Toronto forever. That's not what it, and by that I mean you are stuck with us forever. That's not what it means. All for one means you have this crest on your heart. This crest is always in your heart, but at some point you're going to have to move on. Some point you move on after doing your work for the team and giving them goals and assists and good performances and trophies. You move on and do better, but you'll always remember this crest. You'll always be one of us. But carry our name when you go further into Europe. Carry our name when you go further into the Champions League, the UEFA Champions League, or Conference League, or Europa League. Carry our name when you play for Canada after getting to Europe. Be proud you played for us. Be proud you won us trophies. Be proud you scored goals for us. And we are proud of you when you succeed. After succeeding for us, you move on to somewhere else and succeed there. They never get a chance to succeed for us. And if we're going to send them off, we send them off to some other MLS team or some random team in the backwater of Norway. Like, that doesn't help them either. Rosenborg, Lillestrøm, that doesn't help either. Like, that doesn't help the national team. And we just sent a guy with potential, but here's the other problem. We play the shit guys. We keep the shit academy guys who don't know how to play the sport. I'm surprised Cozy got freaking traded. But Colby Franklin's still there. But we get rid of guys like Paul Rothrock within the league who are awesome. Like, I wouldn't have to pray for how good Tyrese Spicer was or how good Malik Henry might be if we would have just kept Paul Rothrock, which I said for a long time he was actually good. Paul Rothrock is the truth. And guess what? He is. Look at him in Seattle. Every time he scores, I'm like, I told y'all about that guy when he played for TFC 2. He should have been playing for TFC main team. And I know he's from Seattle, but he played for TFC 2. And what do? We let him go. And yeah, he went back home to his actual home. Good for him. I knew he was talented. I knew he could have hung in MLS. He would have played well for us. But no, we rather would have had freaking Derek Etienne Jr. We wanted Kobe Franklin. We wanted Luca Petrasso. We wanted Ulla Brynhildsen. So I'm not disagreeing. But Toronto, you can use your academy to supplement your success. They don't keep the right guys. Like, yeah, academy kids are going to move on one day and move on to Europe, but they don't send them to the right club in Europe, and they don't keep the right guys. We've had a lot of potential. Tyrese Spicer. Now, of course, he wanted to be paid a lot more money, but Tyrese Spicer had a lot of potential. And they sent him off to Orlando. Malik Henry looks like a damn good player, and they play Derek Etienne Jr. over Malik Henry. They don't know who to play. Like, anybody who has actual potential doesn't even really get a real chance. Jules Anthony Vilsaint. He ain't even on the bench. Kuskevich is down. Red card for Denke. Toronto's up a man for 20 minutes, but their striker is the man who's off. Kevin Denke is off. So you're right, but I don't think Toronto does the... Javinko works for the front office. Yes, he does. And he's going to play for the TFC Legends in like May, which if I can watch that game, I might cover that game as well. Either way, yes, he does. Second yellow for Denke, he's off. Javinko respects the crest, but I'm talking about in general. You know. Bring on Malik Henry, damn it. I say they should. Derek Etienne, Fraser, Lamel. Exactly, because I know talent. Remember when I said Davy Flores would be good for Toronto? And I always wanted him, or he'd be good in MLS, which means he'd be good for Toronto back in 2020. And he came to Toronto and was good for Toronto. I know talent. You think I'm talking out of my ass when I say call the Pirate? We would be better off. You think I'm talking out of my ass? We would be better off. At least Malik Henry would get game time. Derek Etienne Jr. would not be touching this team. I don't give a fuck if you're going to the World Cup. You ain't getting no time. Get fit during the international break. And get bodied by... Who's Haiti playing? Yeah, go get bodied at the World Cup. Yeah, enjoy that. But yeah, I was right. I told you. And North Texas is a very good MLS Pro team. Next Pro team. North Texas, Dallas's academy is amazing. See, Dallas does it right. Montreal's, they're just garbage. See, Dallas does it right, talking about academy. Look at Farrington. Look at that guy. He's amazing. They have a DP striker next to him, and he's out playing Petar Musa. But that makes that front two absolutely dangerous. Dallas does it right. You can have DP players and good solid players that are TAM and GAM players, but you could also build from your academy and use that to supplement your success. Look at Dallas. They do it the right way. Toronto don't do it the right way. Yep. And then he got a second yellow, so that's why I wasn't checked. You got to be an idiot. And he probably punched out, well, I wouldn't say punched out, but knocked down Kuskevich and fouled him because of arguing the call. He was already pissed off. So 2 and 2 makes up 3, right? McKinney, my boy, Chris Richards, and Seeley loads of ballers. Exactly. Dallas does it right. Yep, Weston came from Dallas. Yep. Well, that I can't answer. I mean, they've had their moments, but shot. Maybe it's just the coaching. Maybe it's just the tactics. Didn't Levi carry you to a penalty shootout in Uzbekistan when that stadium was empty? Either way. I know talent. Playing forward. 75th minute. Blue Jays play at 2:07. Okay, cool. Oh, Lord. Oh, I know. Okay, halftime hoax. I'm like, no. Playing forward. 76th minute. From TFC from outside the box. Someone shot finally. TFC from outside the box. Yay. We are up a man. Are we going to draw this game? Jordy, we need you, man. St. Kitts miss pen. Venezuela miss pen. Haiti miss pen. Gabon miss pen. Playing forward. Rio cross so Levi could score. He's not a big game player. Okay, those crosses were good by Cardines. Yeah, you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. Playing forward. So Rio Cardines is a big-time player. He is solid, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, Rio Cardines is a solid player. Big game player. Ugh. I think you're pushing it. Damn. You know what I'm wondering? You know what I wonder? Why the hell did Seeley and Spicer not get called up to Uzbekistan for the FIFA series? Like, I think Spicer's healthy and Seeley played against Toronto, so why did they not get called up? That shocked me in the first place. Like, you would think, like, even if they were trying to play their next window or their next cycle squad, why the hell weren't Spicer and Seeley part of it? I mean, they're young enough and they'll be in their prime when 2030 cycle rolls around. Why weren't they in the squad? It's not Spicer's fault while Orlando sucks. It's their defense. Kick them off the tour. Playing forward. 79th minute. Seeley, Spicer, Wayne, Frederick, Daniel Phillips, Kobe all asked not to be called up. Well, I don't like that. Like, if you're healthy and your country calls you up, you should play. And all those players, well, at least Spicer and Seeley, I knew were healthy. Free kick for Toronto. That just pisses me off. Like, I can't, man. Whatever. That pisses me off when players don't. Derek King is a joke. Nobody respects him. Dwight York was the one who brought in Seeley and Kobe. Still playing for your national team. And you've already committed. So what? Monlouis is down. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. No. Not with Zimmerman out. We're going to lose Monlouis. I hope this is just him cramping up and being pulled from a game and nothing more than that. If he's completely hurt, we're up a creek without the paddle. We're up a creek without the paddle. Jesus bleeping Christ, man. Yeah, Lord. Monlouis being injured. Yay. It's Henry. Aristizabal, Stefanovic, and Henry coming on. Wayne is fully fit, playing week in, week out. The Trinidad FA is a joke. Look up Wired 868. Interview with York when you get the chance. No goals yet. You wait till past the 80th minute to make changes. As I said, this coach doesn't know his head from his own asshole. Cifuentes, Etienne, Emilio, and Henry and Monlouis off for Stefanovic. If our manager was the reason we were good, I'd stop saying call the pirate. Oh, Pereira and Franklin. Shot save. It's in! Goal, Toronto! We have the lead! We're lucky as shit. That's luck. I think Stefanovic was there to help the own goal get shepherded in. That's an own goal. That's got to be an own goal. Playing through, over. Good cross over the top, headed on, and it's tapped in by the defender. It's headed over by Sargent, and defender taps it in, and Henry's checking on it, but it is in. Shallowy with the cross, Sargent with a header, and Flores own goal. Flores puts it on goal, so it is an own goal from Flores, but Sargent and Shallowy help set it up. Flores own goal. Gilberto Flores own goal. 1-0 Toronto. We'll take it. I don't care. That was well worked, but also pretty lucky. We'll take it. 1-0 Toronto. Now hold the hell on, boys. Hold on. To be fair to Flores, if he doesn't touch it, it's a tap in behind him. I didn't say anything against him. He did what he tried something. Sometimes trying something ends up ending badly, but I mean, it was going in either way. Yeah, I mean, Malik Henry was on his ass like white on rice. If he didn't try to do anything, it would have been tapped in by Malik either way. So I get that. I don't disagree. But damn, man. Sometimes you got to just hope for some luck. And that's what they got. Fits today. I would never make a move for $23 million for Ryan Gould now that he's healthy since we have Mueller. Mind you, I love Gould, but he may just get us a star this year. That date on TFC's kit is nice. Oh, you're a Vancouver fan. Well, I still think Vancouver's chance was last year, but I mean, they're still good, but it feels like some's just different. You know, I don't know. Some just feels different, but yeah, I mean, Gould is an amazing player, but Mueller is Thomas Mueller, you know. They're both good players, though, but it's good you still have Gould for when Thomas Mueller chooses to retire or when Thomas Mueller finally slows down. Either way, playing forward. But good for you. You know, I think Vancouver's still a good team, but last year was, I think, Vancouver's true chance to win a cup. And the way that Tigres handled Seattle, like, I know it was one really bad night. Like, yeah, Vancouver's been better in MLS. But, like, I was actually afraid Vancouver would win Champions Cup. Like, I'm not as opposed to them winning MLS Cup. We already have a star, and they're not Montreal. But I do not want another Canadian team winning CONCACAF until Toronto does. Well, unless it's Forge, but I think that's very unlikely. Call the Pirate, Toronto will win next year. Either way, Toronto will win CONCACAF next year. Well, they got to win CanChamp first. Well, the quicker you call the Pirate, the more likely we can win CanChamp, which means CONCACAF next year, a.k.a. make the right choice. 87th minute. Malik Henry's, I guess he got, well, I wouldn't say injured, but either way, free kick for Toronto. Osorio standing over it. Coelho dekes it. Oso over the bar. Feels just like Coelho hit it. 88th minute. But no, I mean, Vancouver's done. They're doing a great job, though. Like, I'm happy for Vancouver, as in they're doing very well, and they've earned the spot they're in, being a contender. And I hope Vancouver stays in Vancouver. I hope Montreal stays in Montreal. I would never want Vancouver or Montreal to move to the United States out of MLS teams. I could never. It'd be sad. I don't want to lose our main rivals, and I don't want to lose our triangle rivals. I don't want to lose any of that. So I hope Vancouver gets an ownership and a stadium that keeps them in Vancouver. And I hope Montreal doesn't leave Montreal because of this winter schedule. Us losing our actual rivals, our main rivals and our Canadian triangle teams would suck. I think Toronto is the safest of the 3 Canadian teams to stay in MLS, but I would hope Montreal fans feel the same way deep down, and I would hope Vancouver fans feel the same way deep down, that they wouldn't want to lose Toronto. Headed away. Caught, 90th minute. So either way, Toronto leads 1-0. Playing forward, 90th minute. How much stoppage time? 8 minutes. 8 minutes of stoppage time left in this match. Toronto leads 1-0. Let's see what Toronto does. Playing forward. Playing forward. Malik Henry, cross, blocked away. Toronto put a second in. That would have been it. Jabari gets pushed wide. Shot. Goal! Goal for Cincinnati! It's a tie game. Jabari passes it. And Mboma Dem slots it home. Mboma Dem on the back. Or against the run of play, scores. Honestly, we deserve that. Tobias time, boys. And Jabari and Mboma scores. That was a good shot, too. No one marked the second attacker there. Yep. I don't understand. We're up a man and we let that happen. We've been garbage today. Let's be real. We deserve that. Kenji and Mboma scored in the 90 plus 2 minute. 1-1. Honestly, we deserve that the way this game's been played. Now, it's funny because we had a good chance on our end. Frankly, I think if we drew this game, that would be fair. I won't lie. Cross in. Header. Brought down. Shot saved by Celentano. 6 more minutes to go. More like 5. Either way. Could Toronto still score a goal in 5 minutes? For sure. Could they still allow a goal in 5 minutes? Yeah. Out. If we lose this game, I'm gonna freaking lose it. Throw in. 1-1. Nwobodo coming on. 93rd minute. For Echenique. I mean, that was an amazing pass by Jabari. Good play by Mboma. Cross in. Header. Mboma. Evander. 94th minute, halfway through stoppage time. Starboy Sargent used the Academy TFC. Playing forward. Out for a throw-in for Cincinnati. Evander take the free kick. Cleared away. '95th minute. Out for a throw-in for Toronto. 96th minute. I agree. I won't even blame Sargent for the goal against, though. Playing forward, Coelho, Stefanovic, Lorea. Plays it to top of the box. Coelho switches the play. Dumps it back. Shallowy runs in. Shallowy still has it. Cuts it back for a corner. No, goal kick. Did not keep it in. Goal kick, 97th minute. Playing forward, header. Sargent cleared away. Evander brought down. Toronto can clear. See what this puts us in on the table. That would put us at 5th, 11 points, which, I mean, isn't. Hey, we're tied for playing forward. We're tied for 2nd. It's out for a corner. We're tied for 2nd. What do you know? That's awesome. If we win, we'll be tied for 1st. Look at Shola. He's awesome, but corner for Coelho, 98th minute. Last kick of the game, most likely. Cross in, header. Brought down, Toronto, Lorea, Coelho. Cross in. Out for a goal kick, and that should do it. Toronto will draw. 98th minute. Yeah? Yeah, call the Pirate. I agree. Fire Fraser, call the Pirate. I agree. And didn't we win that game, though? Goal kick. Header. Henry has it. Cross in, out for a corner. I'm surprised that wasn't the last kick of the game. '99th minute. If we could pull a reverse Tobias time, that would be nice. But still, call the Fire Fraser. He ain't that good. Fraser ain't that good. Corner. Coelho takes the corner. Header down. Shot saved. That'll be covered by Celentano, and that should be full time. And it is full time. A 1-1 draw, which I think is a fair result considering how this game played out, but not enough creativity. And the guys who were actually creative got subbed on in the 80th something minute, and it did work out. And we still, until we drew. With that being said, there you go. With that being said, if you like this stream, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Notifications. Send some chats on live streams. Comment on this video. Hit that like button to get this up in the algorithm. Hit that join button to become a member. All that great stuff. I'll see you within the hour for the review of this match. 1-1 draw. Fair TFC a man up. They were a man up, but they weren't playing like it, and it was only for 20 minutes. With that being said, I'll see you within the hour. I'm running. I'm out. Peace. See ya. This team, man.